What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to NPC Offline's Home of Play podcast, where we bring you our take of the latest PlayStation rumors, news, reviews, and that is because we are PlayStation fans. Today and every Monday, I am joined by the king of platinum trophies himself, Christopher.
Hello, hello.
And also we have the 60 frames of Curtis.
Well, hi.
And I am Stevie, your host as always. Before we get started, if you enjoy this and would like to help support and grow the brand, we'd appreciate any positive reviews you could leave on your podcast service of choice. As well, if you could check out the YouTube channel, just search NPC Offline and we will be the first thing that pops up. We could use the subscription, thumbs up, and you can also feel free to leave any suggestions or questions in the videos and we will get to those as they come. But first, let's start with what we've been playing this last week. Curtis, what have you been playing?
Honestly, only thing I've been playing right now is just more Doom Eternal.
What is our completion right now?
Maybe a little over halfway, honestly.
Well, that's not bad. That is a longer game for a shooter.
It's not bad, but I'm also just low on time, but I'm also trying to go through the levels completely. Like, I'm not going to run back to get the collectibles. I'm going to try to finish them in the first run through.
Yeah.
So that's my excuse.
That game has quite a few collectibles, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
There are a lot in each level, too.
And not even collectibles. Like, there's a lot of, like, what am I trying to say?
There's the challenges.
Yeah,
there's
challenges.
the secrets,
There's
the cheat codes.
That's what I was looking for, the secrets.
Yeah, like I'm trying to do all that when I finish the level.
What difficulty did you select for this playthrough?
Just the medium. Just hurt me plenty.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize, I didn't pick up on that. That's the difficult. Just hurt me plenty. I'm like, why is he just saying this?
Well, I can't remember what the easiest one is either.
Well, isn't the hardest one
like
ultra violent or something?
I think there's like don't hurt me plenty, nightmare, and like ultra violence. I think, or ultra nightmare. I think they changed the names.
Hurt me.
And the same question goes to you, Chris. What have you been playing this last week?
Still chipping away at Yakuza 0, but I did get my hands on Resident Evil 3, and I have already finished it. I think I nearly finished it in the first night it came out, actually.
You did not just finish it. It sounds like you finished it twice.
I did.
Well, the game's only like, what, 5 hours?
Not unless you're Chris.
Yeah, well, my first playthrough, I think, it said playtime, I think, was 6 hours, but clear time was like 4.5 or something.
But you're the completionist type.
Yeah, well, I still missed some stuff. I wasn't like using any guides or anything. I was just naturally searching for things. Yeah, I think my first clear play was 4.5 hours. I think I got like a C rating. Normally, my first playthrough is usually pretty bad when it comes to the rating system. Have like 25 saves and whatnot. So
normal mode, hard mode.
That was normal. I wanted to do normal. My second playthrough was like a couple hours after that one. I think I finished it in an hour and 35 minutes, hour and 45 minutes, hour and 35. And then that playthrough was on the easiest difficulty. And I did it with opening up the storage chest with only using one healing item under the 2 hours, obviously, and get the S rating. So I did that successfully, and it was surprisingly pretty easy. My next goal for the platinum anyways, I got to beat it on the harder difficulty modes. But to do that, to make it much easier for yourself, you probably want to unlock the infinite rocket launcher.
Are you allowed to use that and still get the credit?
Yes, you can use the infinite guns and still get the credit for the difficulty. So, yeah, it'll make it a lot easier.
It sounds like it's the only way, like you were telling me, it's the only way most human beings are going to be able to do Inferno in an S rank.
Yeah, I mean, the difficulty doesn't seem to affect like how much damage they do to you. It just affects how much ammunition and healing items and stuff you find in the map. So it's if you have an infinite rocket launcher, it's you don't really need. There's not really a lot of threats in the game other than Nemesis, and if you just have your boss battles, you have the rocket launcher, it'd probably be really easy. So
Nemesis is there? That spoiler.
Definitely not a remake of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Definitely not him just showing up in the main start screen either.
Yeah. I mean, my initial impression is I enjoyed it. It's really short.
Nope. You hold that for the review, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, okay, I'll hold that for the review.
That's right, you will. That's because you have to listen a little bit longer to get there.
I also did turn on Persona 5 Royal, but just started that. I played the original one, so I already know what I'm in for, but
you don't, though. There's so much.
I know. I can tell you the intro has a different scene in it.
Well, like all the boss fights, from what I understand, are slightly tweaked. I'm pretty sure I saw a little bit of video play of the second palace's dungeon boss. And he looked like he was playing different. Like I could have sworn, spoiler alerts, that you fought him as paintings, right? Multiple paintings.
Yes, yeah.
But in the video,
paintings.
it showed that he went to human form, multiple though. Like there was 5 of him in human form too.
Oh yeah, that's different.
And I'm like, I don't remember that.
Because I think he goes to a painting and then transforms back into himself.
And that's when you do real damage, I think. Yeah.
And then after a couple hits, then he turns back into his normal self.
Yes.
So they changed it up again. Okay, well, that's something good to look forward to.
And a little added note, if you're looking for us to review Persona 5, it sounds like Royal takes 120 hours. So we're not going to get to that anytime soon. I might be the first one that beats it since I don't feel like I have anything to play until Final Fantasy. But if that's not that long, then I'll probably jump right back to Persona because I have nothing after Final Fantasy for a long time.
I still need to get that 99th platinum so that I can get Final Fantasy for the 100th.
I was actually getting to that. What do you think is going to be? Is it Resident Evil 3 is going to be your 99th?
I think Resident Evil 3 is probably a good chance. I got to do some grinding and get some challenges completed so I get points to unlock the rocket launcher.
Because my fear is like you're doing a lot of work on Yakuza as well, so you might accidentally give yourself 100th platinum and not even know it.
That's true. I'm pretty sure though, once I get my hands on Final Fantasy, I'll probably be with it until the end.
That's almost a week away, buddy.
That's a week away.
Under a week.
And Resident Evil's probably going to take me maybe a day or two to get those last.
So
it's more or less me wanting to do it as opposed to the time constraint it does take to do it.
I'm just
it
gonna have
doesn't
to
take a long time.
come to your house and slap that controller in your hand, and so you
No.
stop with Yakuza.
I'll get near the last trophy and I'll just leave that trophy there.
Yeah.
I'll stop at 99.9%.
Yeah.
What did you play, Steve?
What I played this week is Final Fantasy 8, a little bit Final Fantasy 8 Remastered. I'm sorry, and I basically got almost to the end of disc 1, and then realized I messed up everything. And restarted from basically just after you get Ifrit.
Okay,
What
how
did
did
you
you
mess up?
mess up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm getting kind of like, I'm bored as shit, right? There's like nothing for me that I feel like I need to play until now. Like now that Persona's out, hooray. So I was like, I want all the cards and I want all these like, there's some really weird cards that they're not that special. But if you use certain skills, they're giving you almost end game magic. So you start junctioning and it's pretty cool. I like the idea that I have the second best weapon already before I even go into like the first real boss fight. I have all these magics that with junction properly. I went from like Squall should have like 300 health right now and he has like 3,200. And his strength went from like 20 to 220.
Jeez.
And yeah, Squall, like just walking out a garden, is already hitting people for 2,000 damage.
Nice.
So when I do his limit break, it's seriously like 20,000 damage.
Is that because you're pairing it with certain magic?
Yes,
Yeah.
like strong ones. Like I got Tornado, which is one of the stronger ones.
Who gives you Tornado at
It's
the beginning of
these-
the game?
The cards, the whole game is the cards, and I never knew. So when you use card mod on those cards that you're winning from the triple triad,
Yeah.
so one, I can't remember, I think it's the Abyss Worm. You use a card mod on him, it gives you a windmill, and then if you use one of these other abilities that the GFs also give you, it will convert that item into 20 tornadoes. So if you get 5 cards, now you have 100 tornadoes, put that on Squall's strength, and boom, he's up to 200 right now.
I do not recall the card aspect of this.
I never
No, I
did
do.
either. And it's just crazy how deep the cards are. And then and the card game itself, I want all these special cards, and it's crazy. Like you have to find this card girl, I think it's the town right next to your garden, and you have to lose the Mog card to her, and if you do it properly, and there's only a 33% chance if you lose it to her, she'll say the right thing, but she'll say she's leaving, so I had to restart a couple times. Once she says she's leaving, it advances that quest, so when you meet her later in Dalit, I think it's called, then you have to win that card back from her son, but then it allows you to get a Kyros card from this other guy, and it's just so detailed. And I missed a bunch of cards apparently. Like Sid gives you Cypher, I can never know how to say his name. And the mom, I totally didn't. Zell's mom drops his card, and I totally didn't get
Which
that.
town are you talking about? Is that the one with the train station?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you have to deal with that. And so I missed all that, and some of it was not probably going to be possible for me to get back to again. So
Did you get Siren Summon or whatever?
yeah, I got that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I hate how that's
fine.
missable.
Oh, a lot of those things are
So annoying.
like, I don't know. A lot of that game is missable, sadly. So so I restarted, got back to basically where I used to be, but now with Persona out, I'm hopping ship until Final Fantasy VII Remake. So
Definitely.
but yeah, other than that, that's all I was playing. That's all you guys were playing. Now let's just dive right into the news that dropped this past week. Today we have 5 topics to discuss, starting with number 1. And number 1's a doozy, so pack your lunch. Last of Us 2 and Iron Man VR delayed indefinitely. Straight from the source of Sony's Twitter. Update: SIE has made the difficult decision to delay the launch of The Last of Us 2 and Marvel's Iron Man VR until further notice. Logistically, the global crisis is preventing us from providing the launch experience our players deserve. End quote. What are you boys thinking?
Yeah. Like I said, delays don't bother me that much. When was the original release date supposed to be?
May.
Okay, this May.
Yeah.
So what's the alternative? I guess it's gonna be pushed. They didn't give a date, but
No, there is no date.
3 months, 6 months, 9 months.
Who knows?
Well, that's the whole big deal about them just saying the indefinitely.
I mean, they're gonna want it out before PlayStation 5 comes out, which
I don't think you're using the term indefinitely if you're just pushing back a month, because you have to remember this is not the first time Last of Us 2 was delayed. We were supposed to get The Last of Us 2 in April. I think originally they said April. So that's kind of so they already did it, and it was weird too because they just released it and then released the date, and it was seriously the same week. They're like, "Oh, just kidding, it's May."
yeah.
Like, do they have a collector's edition that they're not able to get out? I'm not even sure.
Okay, The Last of Us 2 is probably going to be the highest selling game of this year for PlayStation exclusive. Also, Final
Fantasy
7 is an exclusive.
For now,
timely
yeah.
exclusive.
It'll still sell systems probably.
Final Fantasy or Last of Us?
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that, the hardcores like us that just can't wait to get their mitts on it, PC people, like, they're all going to have to either come here or wait. And I don't know if it's ever PC, but a lot of Final Fantasies end up PC at some point eventually. So I don't know, what to think about that. But then definitely word means big to me. It also makes me wonder why. Is it the physical copies because they want that big number for sales? Is it more what I'm leaning into where we're looking at that they're further behind than we thought? I did remember reading some rumors that crunch is really bad right now there, and they were asking people not to talk about it, employees I mean, and we're just further behind than we think. I honestly, like, I heard some stuff about mocap, and in this quarantine world, you can't do mocap. You can't. I assume you can't do a lot of voice recording. So if they're still that far behind, like, that would stop production.
Then the Iron Man VR, I didn't even realize that was Sony doing that one.
I don't know much about the company doing it, but yeah, I believe that's exclusive as well.
That one looked fun.
It would have to be exclusive in the sense, if you're going to a console, what's Xbox got for VR? Yeah. So, I guess that's kind of like a slap myself on the head and be like, yeah, obviously that's going to be exclusive, but I could see that. Actually, I'd almost guarantee that's going to come out to like Steam or something eventually.
Well, Last of Us 2 was supposed to be out February 21st initially, and then, it got delayed.
Oh, that was the original. Wow.
Well, I think it got delayed till, probably around April. I'm trying to find that info.
Interesting.
But for them to have to delay it again, I'm curious, because they've already done it once. Are they not at a point of being able to release it? So now with the whole pandemic going on, they don't want people working. They just don't have the resources to finish.
I'm leaning on both. It's either money and they want the big sales figures and they want those physical copies out, even though I think if anything, this pandemic's proving that digital is the future. I mean, we all knew it was, but I just think it's forcing people. Like, honestly, I can't wait to see Final Fantasy VII's numbers, because when they do talk about it, they're probably going to be talking about digital. And it's going to be one of the first times I think they're going to lean hard on hey, like, look how many digital copies we did.
Yeah, like there is a collector's edition too for Last of Us.
Well,
So
every game, right?
yeah, so I'm guessing that also has a
Physical production issues.
yeah, like they're not going to want to screw those people out of a game because they don't have the resources to put it together.
But Final Fantasy's doing it.
It might have been ready a long time ago.
Could be. But I guess it could be a lot of those things. I just don't know, where we're...
I mean, it'll come out eventually. It's not like they're going to stop production and shut the whole thing down.
No,
right?
it's not that. But now we're talking about if the word indefinitely is being used, I'm now saying this is a PS5 game. Whether they make it playable for PS4, that's fine. But, May was already so close to the launch to begin with. And we still have Ghost of Tsushima, right?
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be June.
Yeah, that's why I don't feel like this indefinitely is going to be long, but I mean, I think they're going to want it out before the PS5, and that's probably going to be November.
I think it's just the fact that there is nothing allowing people to go to work right now. They're just kind of in limbo.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends how far along they are in production, right? So.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting stuff. It's a little disappointing, but I get where you're coming from, Chris, about delays don't make games worse usually.
Not usually, no.
So,
or at least it's hard to have evidence for it. So
yeah. So I don't know. It's disappointing, but I wish they'd open up a little bit more of why it's the case. I mean, they do say, in the quote, it's the global crisis preventing us from providing the launch experience. So that does kind of sound like it is physical copies that they're concerned with.
probably,
So
yeah.
that is what it is. I think that's everything we really have to talk about that. So let's just move forward to Article 2. We have Final Fantasy VII Remake releases early. Spoilers coming.
Dun dun dun.
Quote for this one, just basically as simple it is. It sounds like it's coming out early to prevent launch issues in Australia. And what was the other one, Curtis? Europe. So because of this, some people have it early. I've even heard of other people in North America that already have it because stores just don't seem to care. It's kind of weird. So watch out for spoilers. Be mindful when you're going on YouTube because we all know that's the most trusted source for spoilers.
Yeah.
I can't click on anything without the end boss showing up on my feed. I swear to Christ, it's happened so many times.
Yeah.
So I would just say be careful if you are interested in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, honestly, you might want to go. I know we're already in a quarantine, but you might have to go on an internet quarantine.
Yeah. What will I do?
Yeah, it sucks, but that's the world we live in right now where you're not allowed to experience anything on your own.
I mean, we're a week away from the actual release, and we'll see how that spills out. I'm a little concerned because I'm getting the physical copy straight from Square, so I'm checking the website every once in a while, but it still says preparing delivery. Yeah. So I'm like, what does that mean?
Preparing.
And it's like the only thing I've ever ordered on that website before, so it could just all of a sudden show up. I don't know how often they keep that website updated. So
I feel like it would be pretty up to date.
I would think so. Yeah, but it's like there's not much they actually sell on that store. So
I don't know why, but I keep imagining some guy just like rolled up in his own bubble wrap and he can't get to your package. He's just really frustrated. He's like, I really just want to get this to Chris.
There's one
not
left.
Gonna make it. Not gonna make it.
Not gonna
I
make
can't
it.
get it.
Because you guys are both getting digital, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's already preloaded.
Already preloaded.
No, I still might get mine earlier than you. Maybe if I get the physical copy, then I'll actually be able to jump in. But
that's the weird thing about this thing is you don't know, right?
No.
Some people are probably going to get it.
It's been in the past too, where I think I've had a couple orders on Amazon. I think I got one of the Mass Effects before the actual release date. It was like just the day before or something. So I felt special.
A few people I know that have had that. Like, UPS really likes to jerk most people around, but some days they just show up and it's. I can't remember what game it was, but it was 2 days before launch, and not the end of the world. 2 days, who cares? But it's it's a treat when you're expecting to wait another 2 days to play this game you bothered to pre-order, which usually means if you pre-order it, it means something to you. So,
yeah.
That's always an awesome feeling. So hopefully yours does come early. If it doesn't, me and Chris will laugh at you from a distance. So,
no spoilers.
Oh
No
my
guarantees.
gosh. Yeah.
I was trying to hold back from even looking at the trophy list for the damn game.
Oh,
So I know that's out.
That was almost an article on here, but I just decided I'm just going to not vent about that and possible spoilers and all that stuff. So I don't want to ruin it for anyone. So, watch out for spoilers. Other than that, we're moving on. Going ahead to Article 3, how long is Resident Evil 3? GameSpot says a standard critical path run through Resident Evil 3 will take you about 6 hours. While taking your time to gather all the collectibles will last roughly 11 hours. That means getting all the weapon upgrades and secrets, opening all the locks, and finding all the bobbleheads. So I call bullshit on the 11 hours, just seeing the numbers like from you, Chris.
I can confirm the 11 hours is pretty bullshit.
Even unless you're really bad at exploring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not... My first playthrough, I pretty much got... I can give you the exact numbers. I missed one weapon upgrade. I think I missed 8 bobbleheads out of 20. And I missed one paper article. That's it. Like, I got all the unlocked doors and stuff because they marked them on the map.
And that was in the 6-hour one, eh?
That was in the 6-hour playthrough, yeah. And I don't even think it was a full 6 hours. Like I said, it was... The game time was 6.5 hours, but it said my clear time was 4.5. So I don't know if that means 2 hours I was sitting in pause or in the menus or something. I'm not too sure if it tracks that time.
Maybe they're playing on hard mode for the first time. 11 plus hours.
Maybe. Yeah. If you die a lot, maybe. But I mean, like, there's not... Most of the collectibles, like, you don't have to go too out of your way to find. There's an audible cue when you're near the bobbleheads. And like I said, all the locked doors and locked things, they mark them on the map. So it's... The only reason you would miss it is if you're not checking the map.
Color blindness?
I guess so. It would have a different shade, probably. But in all honesty, 11 hours to get everything. I mean, I think I did... My first playthrough was that, and I missed that stuff. My second playthrough took an hour and 35 minutes on the easiest mode, and I got all the rest of the collectibles I missed. So I would say more 8 hours to get everything in the game. I mean, there's still challenges and stuff that aren't part of that, but as far as getting the collectibles, the weapon upgrades, all the weapons, the secrets, it took me 8 hours.
So what you're saying is that it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little over the top 11 hours. There's just not that much content.
Yeah.
So...
Unless someone's trying to get all the little cans and...
Well, unless you're just not used to that play style where it's like you are dying multiple times, or... I was
Dark
watching...
Souls.
Yeah, I was watching a couple people who look like they get lost easily. Like they walk 3 steps, pull up the map, which way am I facing? Turn right, walk 3 steps. Okay, am I still facing the right direction? No, I'm not. And they totally get lost. So
me and every Stevie Won't Sleep guy.
Jesus.
But yeah, I did watch a couple people that were doing that. So I guess if you're in that situation, yeah, it could take more time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, not too much here. Just general time stuff. I don't know if I should save it for the review or just start shitting on it now, but it's too short for me to justify like a full video game price tag.
I agree.
And that's why I canceled my pre-order.
I mean, in Resident Evil 2 Remake, there was more to do. You had 2 different character storylines and an A and B side. So you could potentially have 4 playthroughs plus multiple difficulties.
Yeah.
This one, you only have the one character. There's, I think, 5 difficulties, which you have to unlock the other difficulties by playing on the harder ones.
5 difficulties?
Yeah, but like I said, it doesn't seem like there's anything different. Everything still kills you in almost the same amount of hits and everything. You just get less ammo and less health. So it's difficult, and yet it's not.
And then resource management.
But even the difficulty, like Chris was saying before, seems to be optional because they can do the resource management. But if you're using your points to buy machine guns with unlimited ammo, then it doesn't matter. Yeah. So it literally have to be your choice of being, I want this playthrough harder, I want less bullets, and I don't want to use these awesome weapons because you want to make it harder for yourself.
It feels like one of those great games that speedrunners would have had fun with. Like, okay, I'm going to do this whole run with just the knife, or I'm going to get through this whole run, whatever, using just pistol or whatever you want to do. It seems like a great game for one of those, so probably really good videos for YouTube and stuff like that.
Honestly, they should have done, I'm going to quote it like $30. $30 paid DLC for Resident Evil 2.
I mean, I guess, like I said, I think there's going to be future add-on stories. At least I hope so.
Yeah.
to get more value for what I paid. I mean, you do get Resident Evil Resistance, but that's not everybody's cup of tea.
No.
I don't go into Resident Evil looking for a multiplayer
Well,
game.
and
Maybe co-op, but
that's what I think is the problem here is they're using the online mode as an excuse to charge you the $60. And
I agree.
I don't agree with that. Like,
If I had the option, I would pay for just the story mode.
Yeah.
At a reduced price, like $40 or something.
Exactly.
Because it's just, I mean, the multiplayer, I'm not a huge multiplayer guy anyway, but it's one of those ones that's like, you would want to play with friends probably too.
Yeah.
But I don't know anybody else that's getting it. That you were getting it, but
Even there, it was
you pulled the
on
plug
PC.
on that one.
I'll probably pick it up on PC once they mod Nemesis to not look like the Sack King.
I'm pretty sure it's already done. So.
It
The
is.
demo had it done. I just don't
Yeah.
know if the full game's
Oh, I'm
done.
sure it
already.
won't take long.
It won't take
Yeah.
long if they already did it once in a demo.
Yeah.
I can't believe how many mods they made for a demo. Like, save your skill.
Well, I feel a lot of people had the same response as you.
Yeah,
He looked goofy,
he does. Like,
right? It just doesn't look right.
no. Okay, so that's enough of the Resident Evil talk. We'll save a little bit more for later. Number 4, rumors PS5 price and date revealed by Canadian retailer. Recently, we reported on a Danish retailer that had published a PS5 price of 6,989 krone, which roughly translated to 1,043 American dollars. While there would be plenty of gamers willing to pay the $1,000 for the PS5, the latest speculative price for the next-gen console is much more palatable. Play and Trade Vancouver Island has stated a $559 Canadian dollars for the PS5, which is about 397 American dollars. What do you guys think about this price?
I don't know. It still seems a little steep, but I guess considering what it can do, it's really not bad. I think it's just the fact you're looking at probably exchange numbers is what makes it look bad, in my opinion. Because if they're trying to base it off of a different amount, that's what makes it look bad.
I 100% agree. I think it's just the price, the dollar difference
Yeah.
is what makes this look worse. When you look $397, well, I'm pretty sure it came out at $399 is what the PS4 was. So, American. So, that sounds like we're getting the same. And that's fine. You know, the Canadian dollar sucks, so that's not their fault. That's not anyone's fault.
I mean, I look at the price and it doesn't bother me that much. I remember spending like 800 Canadian on the PS3, and I don't remember how much I put on the PS4, but I've gone through 2 of them now. So a $600 or $599 or $559, sorry. I don't know. It doesn't seem that bad to me, especially with all the type of architecture they're using, the new hard drives. I mean, that stuff's expensive.
Comparatively, the PS4 Pro, I believe, was 500 Canadian.
Yeah. So I mean, it seems okay. I want to actually see a confirmation from Sony first.
Yeah.
No,
saying
and
that
that's
this is-
I should preference this as probably a rumor
Yeah.
or a price holder. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
it's definitely a rumor, but yeah.
Yeah.
But even there, if their tech specs are, if they look as good as they seem, then that dollar amount really isn't that bad, considering it should be able to play things in 4K.
Companies order these fancy cards and stuff like that. Us as a consumer, it would cost us a shit ton to go out and buy them, but they get orders of this stuff in bulk, so they pay pretty cheap to buy all these expensive cards that we would normally pay
and that's
for.
100% the reason any console's affordable.
Oh yeah.
Like, I could be blowing it up because of the hype that I'm currently living in, but when I'm reading these new consoles, I feel like I'm more excited now, and this could just be a time thing, but I feel like I'm more excited now for the new console than I was back in the day waiting for the 4. Like, I know I was excited for the 4, but they didn't really give us a reason to be excited. There's nothing new. It wasn't doing new resolutions. It didn't go to SSD. I didn't feel like there's any real excitement. And I know I was still hyped because it was a new console, but there just wasn't that excitement going to the next generation. There wasn't a reason other than I just want my games to be prettier. This thing might be able to give me better textures. The bigger problem, I think, with the last generation we had was this another false promise of like, these consoles are going to give you the 1080p that the PS3 couldn't give you at the 60 frames per second that the PS3 couldn't give you. get hyped, and then we got it, and we still couldn't even get the 60 frames per second at 1080p. Then the problem is then they jump the boat again. We get the Pros or the Xbox One X, and same thing. Oh, we're giving you 4K. Well, neither one of you is giving me real 4K. So, kind of stop.
It's almost like you're capable of getting that 1080p, right?
Yeah.
But the people who make the games, they set it down to 30 frames per second because they want the game to look fancier and
Well, and they
yada,
just
yada.
don't want the stutters and the breaks, and I don't know, like, there's some weird stuff for the last generation. I could have sworn, I think it was Titanfall had screen tearing when it released on the Xbox, and I was, that day and age, I'm like, screen tearing? Like, I don't think I've seen screen tearing since, I don't know, maybe N64. Like, what's going on here? So it's just weird to see that kind of stuff. But yeah, it just seemed like a very passable upgrade, where these ones, my point getting there is that there's real things to be excited about. The SSD might actually change things. We might actually get real 4K, not this. I could be wrong, but using those weird gimmicky terms like UHD and Ultra HD, what does that mean? Is it 4K or not? You're trying to avoid actually calling it what it is. Are you giving me 1440p? Because that's not 4K. So it's like, now they're trying to say this, but like I've said in other episodes, they've also said, oh, we're 8K future proofing, and you're not even going to give us the 60 frames again, which is fine. I guess as console gamers, we just have to accept that 60 frames is not coming our way.
It's out of reach.
It's out of reach, especially if they just keep jumping too fast, right? You didn't give us 60 frames for the 1080p, then you jumped to 4K way too early, and now you can't give us 60 frames of that, and then you're already talking about 8K. So that just tells me even when we get the Pros, they're probably just going to try blowing that up and still not giving us the freaking 60 frames. So
if you want 60 frames, play on PC.
No, exactly. So, I mean, I never personally cared. I've always been fine with, as long as you give me a consecutive 30, a smooth 30, like that smooth peanut butter from Kraft, like just
being consistent.
Yeah.
You don't want those dips. And I mean, there's always games too where there's so much stuff on the screen where it's overwhelming and you can see the frames dropping and you're like, ugh.
But with the SSD now being able to hopefully be able to grab textures and assets a lot faster, you might not have that bottleneck.
Well, not having to load the same mailbox 400 times, apparently, stuff like that. Like that might all help, right? So, that's kind of where I'm not being fully the technical guy. I'm wondering if that's what helps PS5 catch up to the Series X. No, you don't have the teraflops, but our hard drive's twice as fast and we don't have to load things nearly as much as you. Then maybe that makes up some of the difference. I still don't think it's going to make it more powerful. Some people are talking like it is. You read these articles and they're so flip-floppy. You don't know which way to go. Some people are like, oh yeah, this hard drive is that big of a difference, where other people are like, no, Xbox is going to just trounce them.
They just don't know, right? I mean, you have to be a developer in the field who's actually playing with the system to know the effect of what this hard drive does.
The proof will be in the pudding.
Yeah.
And we just have to see that proof.
Yeah.
So I think the exclusives will be the tell-all. When we get an Xbox Series X exclusive, and we can compare it to like one of PlayStation's better exclusives and look at them, then I think it's going to be obvious.
Has there been any launch title talk yet?
For which?
The PS5.
PS5, no. Everyone's talking Horizon, but
See,
I just think with all what's going on, like, we can't even get Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
So
that's the scary thing. Like, there's so many good games coming. Resident Evil, or not Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, Cyberpunk, all these games, and it's like, oh, it's the end of the PS4 life cycle.
For me, the big ones are going to be Spider-Man 2, God of War 2.
Yeah, but those aren't coming out probably till...
I think Spider-Man's coming out sooner than people think.
You think?
Give it... I'm probably going to make an ass of myself, but, quote me later, make fun of me later, but I'm going to say just after a year after PlayStation 5's launch.
So 2022, you're saying? Early
2022? I'm going to say early or maybe September.
That's a big gap of what?
You know what? I'm going to be the asshole in the room. September or October 2021.
Called it here, folks.
I'm doing it. Just because...
Mark it on your calendars.
Because really, it being the sequel... I don't think they're not going to have to make a whole new engine. They're going to be able to copy a lot of assets. Yes, you're going to have to update some of the textures,
the way they implement
4K,
it. Yeah,
And like they're going to probably tweak maybe some of the web slinging, this or that, but overall it's going to be a lot of the same game.
Which is fine because the game was great. So
And
just give me more of it.
They have like a path because the first one sets up a lot of stuff. They have the voice actors. They already know who they're going to. It takes out a lot of production time.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't like, a lot of people keep saying like, oh, it's going to be another 5. No. It takes 5 years to make the first of a series for sure. You need a lot of concept time, blah, blah, blah. A lot of that stuff's eating time. Like look at, well, Anthem's a bad example because that ate over it, but they wasted the first 3 years before even touching a computer.
Yeah.
Like it was pictures and drawings and not coming up with crap. So when you take that out, then I think we actually might see Spider-Man sooner than people think.
I would almost agree with you. The only thing that could be the curveball is the virus right now.
Yeah.
So
yes, that's 100% true.
that could be what pushes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I haven't heard anything from God of War.
I don't think they're going to launch Spider-Man and God of War the same year anymore. I just think they were both so successful that
Separate it.
Yes. Like I honestly, it could be the year after Spider-Man, but I do think Spider-Man will drop before God of War.
God of War came out before Spider-Man, right?
It came out in March, if I'm not an anus. I think it was March. Spider-Man came out in September.
Yeah. They'll probably want to separate them.
I think they'll separate them. And I think God of War will get more time. They just bought Insomniac this last year. So now that is a PlayStation exclusive machine. So, but I just think God of War, I think, would need to change more than Spider-Man would. Just to keep it, because we're looking at something that got 10 out of 10s across the board. It's got more weight on its shoulders to hold up. Where Spider-Man, people just want something fun. Let me web sling again. We'll finally probably have, I shouldn't even say that, that's a spoiler, but there's going to be some cool things ahead in my opinion.
Like I have not heard a single person say anything bad about either of those games.
Oh yeah.
So it's all been pretty positive.
Other than Persona 5, I'll say in the last decade, Persona 5 and God of War are probably fighting for my top spot of like best game I've played in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I can agree. Yeah, they were good.
Yeah. So I'm like, and that's, partly why I'm a PlayStation fan and why I have a hard time when people like, oh no, I'm that Xbox ecosystem, and I'm like, for Sea of Thieves? Like I don't, like, what are you offering? I don't get it, but whatever. I'm not going to be a naysayer and just crap on the other team. I don't get it. And like you've pointed out before too, I can play other games on PC.
Yeah, that's my thing with any Xbox game you can play. I think all of them on PC. So why I don't see the point in getting an Xbox myself.
Yeah. So whatever. We probably went too long on that one. So we'll move on to the next article. Article number 5, PlayStation 3 Sony releases firmware 4.86 to their 13-year-old console. This is a weird one. So earlier today, Sony decided to release firmware 4.86 for the PlayStation 3 despite the console getting long in the tooth and already being a teenager. Following the trend with the 4.8 updates, firmware 4.86 doesn't seem to bring about anything new from the user point of view, as the change log only states this system software update improves the quality of the system performance, which effectively means nothing bar from bug fixes and perhaps security improvements. Honestly, I'm looking at this and it seems 1,000% clear they're just fighting hackers and modders.
Most likely, yeah. I mean, is there still a lot of performance issues on the PS3? I don't know. Unless they're improving
that cell processor, man. There's problems.
Unless they're improving the network download speed, because that's always felt pretty throttled for the PS3.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious for either of you guys, what's the last thing you guys did on your PS3?
Dark Souls 2 at your house.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was not that long ago.
Last of Us 1.
Last of Us 1. And that one was remastered on the 4.
And
so.
I never played it on PS4.
No, okay, yeah.
Did you complete it on the PS3?
Yes.
Okay. How long ago was that?
How long has the game been out?
Oh, so that was okay.
Oh, so
I didn't know
when it came out.
Yeah.
That's when you. Oh, okay. So that's been a while.
Yeah, that's the last time I touched my PS3.
My last time was I turned on Catherine. I don't know if you guys know that one. That's
I
there.
like that one.
I haven't. I'm not done it or anything. I'm probably halfway through it, but
That's
it was one of those ones that I was always recommended to me. So
that's a love-hate for me. Same team that did Persona 5.
yeah.
But I'm too dumb to play it, so it frustrates me in the puzzle aspect.
Oh yeah.
But everything about it is so enjoyable.
Yeah, it's very.
I love all the characters. I love the comments. It's just that game's like so close to a 10 out of 10 for me until I'm too dumb to play it. Like I think I can't remember exactly, but there was a point where I think it was kind of re-released, but not really, or maybe it was an update. But they basically did make a dum-dum version, and when I tried to play it a second time, all of a sudden I'm like, I have a lot of lives, and like I'm getting like really far, and I found out it's because this like overpowered item will just drop more often because it knows you're too dumb. So I was just like godly
Game
by
assist.
some of them, yeah. And I still died sometimes, like, but at least I was allowed to progress and have fun like everyone else.
Yeah, that's the last thing I played on there, apart from watching DVDs and Netflix.
Also-
Pretty much what I use it for.
I totally lied. The last thing I tried to play was Parasite Eve.
Oh, wow! I haven't heard that one in a while.
Well, I had to think about that. I'm like, no, there was a PS1 game that I wanted to play.
That's funny that you said that because I almost got the PS3 running again to try Vagrant Story.
Oh yeah, that they didn't redo that one.
Okay, so you can get it on the PS3, but you can't get it on the PS4 because PS4 can't get PS1 games.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that's why I almost got the PS3 set up just for that.
Pretty sure I played more PS1 games on my PS3.
Yeah,
Well,
that's also
it
true.
had a hard launch. Like they did so many things wrong at launch. The price, you're a year behind the 360, and you had no games.
Yeah,
Well, no, you did have games. Some of them were lair. Yeah, nobody remembers that fondly.
I remember the
amazing.
name.
That was the one where they literally forced you to drive the dragon with your stupid 6-axis controller.
yeah. I think they eventually did patch.
They
in,
patched
yeah,
it out,
but it took too long.
They fought it though. If I remember correctly, they were like, "No, like this is the way the game was meant to be played."
Yeah,
And everyone's like, "No,
drink the juice.
Yeah, exactly. The
No.
Kool-Aid's right here. Just put it in your mouth."
Yeah. Well, hey, who doesn't love a new update, right?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it is what it is. You can still watch Netflix on it, and that's how my wife uses it.
Make sure you go download it.
Yep.
Yeah, get that update. You don't want to be out of date.
Yeah, that one PS3 I have is listed as its primary device, so I turned it on and it said, "Oh, there's an update ready," and I'm like, "Really? You're still checking?"
Okay, so I think we've gotten through the news. For the first time ever, we are going to do a review. So we're getting Chris to review Resident Evil 3, the remake. A lot of remakes this month, apparently. So what is your review, Chris?
So I crunched the numbers. If I had to give it a straight 1 out of 10 between that range, I think I would give it an 8 out of 10. Graphics, everything looked gorgeous in the game. Same as it did in the second one, just even more extra crispy. It was great.
What would you give graphics?
I would almost give it 10 out of 10. I had no issues, no graphical
The
issues. It
character
just looked
models
gorgeous.
are awesome.
Well, the Resident Evil engine that they made, I think since 7,
Yeah.
the RE engine, like
It's
whatever
gorgeous.
they use, that engine's on steroids.
There's one part where you're kind of like slugging through some water, and then it's like you can see it on you, and your hair gets wet, and it just looks great.
But even her, like, and maybe it's more credit to the team, but like the facial, like, I know a lot of people quote her eye roll being the most realistic thing, but I also just in my time watching it on YouTube, little clips, like she does some facial animations that like just look like, oh crap, that's a real person.
yeah, legit.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Because eyes are so hard in games that I find so many games it's off-putting the eyes.
They're seeing into your soul.
But hers and the RE engine constantly like, yeah, they're really good.
yeah, it seems real.
And it seems like they're getting stronger with it. Every game that gets released with this engine is just better.
Yeah.
So sorry, you can keep going.
What else? Let's see. The sound music was very good. There was times where it was like you saw it almost sounded like you first see Nemesis there and he's walking towards you, and it's almost like the Terminator music.
Yeah.
Not quite obviously, but
Very close.
pretty close where your mind
he
would
was
go that way.
Just short a box of roses and shotgun.
Just short of it.
Just short.
It might have been in the background.
Yeah.
If I had to give that out of 10, I would say maybe 9 out of 10. There was 1 or 2 times where it's like the voice audio was a little inconsistent with the in-game what was happening type thing.
Yeah.
But it's very few and far between, to be honest.
That's such a problem with many games.
Yeah. My biggest cut for rating the game would be the story. Like, me personally, I had so much fun with Resident Evil 3, the original, and there's so many iconic moments in my head about the game. And in this one, I mean, if you never played the original,
which maybe we should. Okay, well, let's go. Okay, no, let's placeholder here. Spoilers continue on.
yeah,
If you guys don't want to hear anything about the actual story or where you do or do not go compared to the original, please skip ahead. Otherwise, I guess we're just opening up this baby. So let's do it.
yeah, I think most people know the gist, right? Raccoon City gets blown up.
What?
Spoiler. So, I mean, there's iconic moments.
I actually did forget that until you said that. That's hilarious. I totally forgot
Ruined.
that. Yeah.
happened in the movies too. So,
What?
there's movies.
Yeah.
So there's iconic places like the police station you're supposed to go to, and you do end up there. But there's so many iconic moments when you're at the police station that aren't in this one. There's different ones, but they're not the same. Like, I want that hit. But there's other moments too, like the clock tower is pretty iconic, and you walk under it. That's about it. You don't actually go in it, and there's monsters that are in the original that aren't in this one, or there's slight variations of them, but they're not quite the same. I don't know. There's just a lot. There were some moments that they did really well, like where it's the beginning of the game is like really cool. I really enjoyed it. I don't want to go into too much detail, but it was different. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Spoilers, so I'm not going to care. But I didn't like the live action start.
Like the first person mode?
No, that was fine. When it actually starts, it's like a video.
Oh, the video part, yeah.
And I
the original had that too, though, I think.
Yeah, but the original was a PlayStation 1 game, so I get why they do that.
It was like a news
your
report.
Engine's so pretty. Just lean on that.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I hate when they do like live action and then you go to gameplay and you're like, oh, like beautiful for a game, but I find it off-putting.
There was a couple moments where it's like they did something in a certain way where it reminded me of the third one, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for. So it was like, that was a really good moment. And then, but overall, like I said, my rating for story is probably about a 7 out of 10, just because, I mean, like I said, if you only played this one, just this one, it's not a bad story. Like, it's consistent, makes sense. You get all the points and everything, all the papers you can read and all that kind of stuff.
I did ask you a couple questions too, and you even told me, well, they don't really answer that. They don't really answer that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, it's good. It's really short, which hurts it, but the story's there, so you get what you want, sort of. And then gameplay was quite enjoyable. I liked the new dodge mechanic, which was kind of fun to try to time that perfectly, especially when like Nemesis is swinging his fist right at your face and you dodge it just perfectly. It feels satisfying.
Yeah, it seems like almost like a Dark Souls element added in.
Yeah,
because if you do it perfect, it's almost like doing a perfect parry.
It almost
right?
goes into a little bit of a slow-mo where you can kind of
Yep.
like take a breath and it's like, okay, what do I want to do? And then do whatever you want to do.
I've seen some people master it, and it seems like if you get that good, like you're getting constant headshots or whatever that robotic part on his chest is, shots.
Yeah.
And because it just slows down so you can get that perfect shot every time.
So yeah, like gameplay was pretty good. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. The only thing I would maybe reduce is like the maps. Like they're not really where you can wander around that much. Like you're kind of, I don't want to say linear because it's not 100% linear, but it is too.
Well, it's not the dungeons. There's no puzzles.
The puzzles are very like the standard puzzles in all the Resident Evils. You make a formula, mix the temperature.
Yeah, but this one, from what I understand, has like, I would say less than half of what 2 had in puzzles.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And just to be pointing it out is some of the same puzzles from Resident Evil 2 are in this exact same thing. So if you played the second one and you remember what the code was for a locker keychain, it's the same code in Resident Evil 3. So which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's kind of
fine.
Cool. Yeah.
But it also makes me wonder, though, it's like, okay, so who went back through the police station relocking all those things afterwards? Because you're opening the exact same things, right?
So leave this up to kind of your opinion, but going back kind of what he was saying before, where sequels take less time to make. Remember that RE2 Remake came out last January. So it's been a little bit over a year. Even there, when was this even announced that they were doing 3's remake?
It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, so it's either already been in the works or it literally didn't take them long. So does that explain why there's a lot of things missing, or that you can't explore all these buildings, stuff like that?
The existence of this game leaked, but then it was confirmed. Well, the game's not exclusive, but the reveal was on a state of play video on YouTube. So I don't even know what to say when that came out, but yeah, like it had not a long wait window after it was officially revealed.
I assume they jumped on it right when they finished the second one, probably. But
it was a different team, so they might have actually been starting it before they finished 2.
It's possible, yeah.
I think they knew, like, just from how well received the idea, the notion that 2 was coming.
The first thing people would say is, "We want number 3."
Yes.
I just wish there was more. Like, keep the game for another year and work on it, add more. I have a feeling, like I said before, I think they're going to be releasing probably some add-ons, probably free because they did last time.
Well, I'm surprised there's no mercenary mode.
There's no mercenary mode.
Yeah, like there's a lot, like even 2
there's nothing.
That,
it's very bare. Once you're done it, you finish it on all the difficulties. The challenges aren't overly hard. I mean, some of them are difficult, but you give it enough time, you could do it.
Yeah.
I feel like they wanted to really bundle it in with Resistance. And keep in mind, my review is based on Resident Evil 3, not the multiplayer aspect. It's its own separate game. It has its own trophies, its own platinum. So it's the first game you pay for one where you actually can potentially get 2 platinums, which is kind of nice, but it's got to be your cup of tea, right? And like I said, I don't think most people go into Resident Evil thinking, I want a multiplayer game that I can play with friends. I don't think people are thinking that very often. So Resistance, I can't really give a quick review on it. I did 1 or 2 matches. It seems okay. I was kind of playing in the middle of the day, so my room was a little bit too bright, so I couldn't really see everything that was happening on the screen. But I don't want to give a review on that one. I want to give a review on the Resident Evil 3, and my review is 8 out of 10.
Nice. My 2 cents for not playing it really would be wait till it's on sale.
Yes, do not buy it for full price.
Yeah.
I don't see... There's not enough value. I think you'll get the value eventually. But the problem is like, even when Resident Evil 2 started releasing their DLCs and add-ons, I can't remember how long did it take for that stuff to start coming out. It was a couple months.
It was a little bit.
Yeah, like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
The thing is like, are people going to remember and want to come back and play it? Resident Evil 3, I'm going to probably get it all out of the way in 2 or 3 days, and I'm probably going to delete it and move on. It's not one of those ones I'll replay it that day.
I'll be interested to see a year down the hole if people are going to be replaying 2 more or 3.
I don't know. I mean, I turned 2 on the other day, and it was that one I loved so much.
Yeah.
This one I think because I loved 3 so much, not so much more, but I did love it more. It was the original, that is. I was hoping for more, like a higher standard. Like give me everything I want.
It's so high on that mantle that you...
I know, right?
The pedestal.
The pedestal, yeah.
Shush.
But 8 out of 10. Definitely recommend playing it. Borrow it from a friend.
Yeah, get it any way you can. But if you can't wait, get it full price. But otherwise, sounds like we're all kind of saying wait till it's on sale. Yeah. Maybe there's going to be a good sale coming. Probably not anytime soon since the games are limited, but who knows? Unless you're really excited to try Resistance out. If you're really excited for both, then you'll probably get your value out of it. But I can't say there's too many people that were really waiting for it. Okay, everybody, that's it for this week. Thank you for listening to the show. If you'd like to hear more, just find us on YouTube. We drop 2 new videos a week there. We could use your support, so feel free to head there. Until next week, your NPC Offline crew is signing off. Later. Bye. Bye. But first, let's start with what we've been playing this week, and I will start with Curtis this time. What have you been playing this week? Still just chipping away at Doom Eternal. Haven't had a lot of time to finish that game yet. I was trying to think of a follow-up question. Yeah, I'm like... I wasn't ready. Is there Doom?
Has Doom happened yet?
That's Doom. It's like, how's the Doom going? Oh, fuck. That was like, I kind of had nothing, but then I'm like, I'm just going to not do anything and see what happens.
I was trying to think of something, but